Of all the product leaders that I've worked with over the years, uh, when I have my first conversations with them, they reach out for help. Their goal is something around maturing their organization to work better, faster, smarter. Right? What they're talking about is improving their performance, their productivity. And I'll ask them, well, how's it going? And it's amazing how where they focus. It's just a total blind spot. They talk about speed. They talk about sales. They talk about these objectives that they have, and they're measuring them on just a single dimension. And it's taken me a while to figure out where that blind spot was coming from. And really what it comes down to is the way that they assimilate performance is based solely on objective performance, right? And so when I ask them how it's going, what they hear is, how are we doing? And how they answer that is they say, well, sales are trending in the right direction and delivery is going well. We're hitting our milestones on time, on budget. But there's something that, the team just isn't clicking. I feel like they could do better. And where that blind spot is coming from is they're missing an entirely, the entire human aspect of performance of a team. And that's the subjective performance. How's that team actually feel about the work, right? And so, of course, we want both of these things to be true. We want a team that is doing great work and feeling great about it. But I'm not sure the second piece is on some of these leaders' radar, right? They're just thinking about how can we do great work. But a team can't do great work if they don't feel great about it. So if you look at many product teams, you'd be surprised how many I've worked with over the years that fall into this second category, where they're doing some degree of good work. There's reason to celebrate. They've shipped the app. They've launched into the new market. They've solved a really kind of complex problem that others have failed to do so. And they did it, they beat the market. But then if you go and talk to sort of like a rung down and their teams, how'd you feel along the way? And they'll give you, they'll kind of give you a bad report. They'll say, well, yeah, it felt good to ship, but man, was it hard because we had to constantly deal with competing priorities from stakeholders that just didn't get it. We had to feel bad about pushing back on them. Sometimes we had to concede and do that additional work. And what that meant was that my team had to come in and work nights and weekends. I've lost sleep. I feel stressed and overworked. And my team feels the same way. And so what happens when you stay in that mode for long enough is that a team that's not feeling good about the good work they're doing eventually falls into bad habits. The vision gets murky. Their sense of purpose that initially drove them to just push through those dark nights eventually results in work that's not going so well anymore. And here's the really sneaky part that drives me nuts is that these people, when I shift the conversation to how are we doing to how are we feeling, that gets dubbed as focusing on the negative. And it's such an oversight because we are human beings and we are working in complex environments, solving really tough problems. If there's not a moment to acknowledge how people are feeling about that work, you're going to miss. That's a total miss. And so what needs to happen at that point when you've slipped into this, doing poor work and feeling poorly about it Now you need to put all of this energy into rebounding the team. But maybe it's too late. Maybe you've lost some core team members. Maybe the market has caught up and surpassed you along the way because your shitty product is no longer able to stand head and shoulders above the rest. And so now you have to put all of this energy into helping the team rebound and feel better about how work happens so that you can get back up to doing good and great work and feeling good about it. My question to you is, why wait? Why not initially focus on both of these axes? And in fact, maybe even flip it on its head. Maybe focus on your people and how they feel first. And when you do that, aren't they inherently going to do great work?